Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
I am Dr. Dana.
I'm Laura.
And this is Business Besties in Branson. And today we're excited to have someone with us who, oh my gosh, has this long list of things she does.
So excited.
I'm very excited too. Yeah. Good morning. Would you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Kristi. I also go by Loot. That is my author name, my gamer tag. It's spelled L-O-O-T, like the treasure. And it's something that, Loot was a persona that really got me through a lot of my mental health journey in a lot of different ways.
Well, and you wrote 2 books about it, which you showed us this morning, I was blown away.
Me too.
Literally just blown away. And I read one of them, the poems to Dana, and I was like, holy cow, this is wow, this is really good. So I just want to hear about this journey and about Twitch, because that's something we hadn't, you heard about it. I'd never heard
I've heard of it. I just don't know much about it. And your journey to where you get to this point of writing books. So this is book 1
and book 2.
And there's book 2.
Yes.
So
and they're beautiful.
Oh my gosh,
just
yes.
Absolutely beautiful books.
So I appreciate that. I got to create them start to finish, which I absolutely loved. I actually started streaming on Twitch. I also had never heard of it when I first started. My younger brother is about 4 years younger than me, and he had moved from Florida to Missouri. It was the first time in 15 years we'd lived in the same area.
Oh, wow.
And he was staying with us while he was finding his own place. And he was like, we always have so much fun together. We thought about doing a podcast. And he's like, why don't we stream video games? And we can do it on Twitch. And I was like, whatever, I trust you. I don't know anything about this. I've been a stay-at-home mom for the majority of my life. So I was very unfamiliar with the terrain. But I'm a marketing nerd. So I was like, okay, well, what do you think about the name My Sister Sucks at Video Games? Because I hadn't played them in years.
Right.
And we were going to play an oldie but a goodie. We were going to play Kingdom Hearts together, work through the storyline. This was in 2018 before the brand new, I think it was 3 at the time, came out. And so we just kind of started our own goofy video game podcast, and we would make our jokes that we normally made, and we'd be both laughing until we were crying, and then just streaming live so that we could invite people in to, join us in our chaos. We actually had somebody coin us as Sarfisticated because we were so sarcastic, but we, kept it pretty high key.
That is awesome.
So we did that for a few months, and then out of nowhere, we get a phone call. So we started this in, I believe, December of 2018. In February of 2019, we get a phone call, and we found out that our dad had a brain tumor. It was just we had no idea. My dad, he was a recovering alcoholic, and all of the symptoms of a brain tumor are symptoms of drinking.
Okay.
So none of us really put 2 and 2 together, maybe there's something more going on.
Right.
So we found out in February. I bought a 15-passenger van because at the time I had 7 kids, and the youngest was about 9 months old.
Wow.
And I drove to Florida
from
Missouri to go take care of him because originally they were like, it's a infection. We're giving him antibiotics. He'll be fine. So I drive 24 hours.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to stop right there. You said you drove to Florida with 7 children in a car. That in itself is mind-boggling, right?
How many days did this take you?
Honestly, it took us almost exactly 24 hours. It's typically a 19-hour drive. You always want to budget in an extra hour for every 3 when you have little kids.
Right.
And because a bathroom trip with that many littles isn't, let's just run in real quick and
kidding.
go
That's
potty.
what I'm thinking.
I had to carry 2 of them. And had 2 more holding my pockets.
Wow.
Because they were all so little. And we go in and we do our whole break, and that took about an hour, and then get back in the car.
So.
Oh my God.
And keep going.
We went to Silver Dollar City with our 5-year-old granddaughters, and I think we're still in recovery.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah, I cannot even imagine.
Were you sore?
Oh God. I was exhausted.
I know.
Wait a minute, where am I? What did we do?
Yeah. So I just have to ask, was Nanny NyQuil involved in any of
No,
this?
they did really well. They did really well in the car. it did kind of help that 4 of them weren't fully potty trained. So we did have like they had their Pampers, they had their diapers just in case something happened.
Right.
Okay.
But they did really good. They handled it pretty well. The youngest, the 9-month-old didn't much care for the car seat after just a short bit of time, but she did all right. And then we get down there, and after they're like, okay, it's an infection, it'll be taken care of. I walk in, and the first doctor to talk to me is his oncologist. And I'm like, those don't mean the same thing.
No,
it doesn't.
So he had a glioblastoma, which is a type of brain tumor that isn't a mass. It's like fingers. It goes through all of the parts of the brain. So within 30 days, he went from walking and talking to unable to do both and passed. Like, it was crazy quick.
Wow.
And we had found out that he actually had watched some of our streams before he had passed, which was really cool for my brother and I, but we just kind of lost a little bit of our heart for streaming.
Right.
And kind of stepped away. But through all of it, through the whole journey, I had our community kind of knew what was going on. Our streaming community knew what was going on. And so I had a lot of support from my friends online, knowing about our journey. And so we kind of took a break away from it. He passed in March, and I started dabbling. They used to have this like karaoke game on there called Twitch Sings. And so I started just playing around on there. And honestly, he passed in March. I turned 30 in July, and I had a complete mental breakdown right after I turned 30. Never expected to do my 30s without my dad. We weren't super close, which actually made it harder, I think, because I would just go be like, oh, I'm just going to call dad real quick. We didn't do that a lot, so it wasn't something that I was constantly thinking about.
Right.
So, I mean, it took probably 2 years before I wasn't like, oh, it's Thanksgiving, I need dad's recipe. Like, okay, I can't call him for that, you know?
Right.
So I had my own mental break, and I actually got inpatient help through a local center here in town. And during my stay, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, an extra dollop of anxiety and depression because I am an overachiever. and you can't really do much when you're inpatient. There's not a lot of options. But you can color, which to me is a nightmare hobby. I can't. It's a project I won't finish. Yeah. So it drives me nuts. So I don't like coloring, but I started creative writing.
Okay.
So every single poem in book 1 was written during an inpatient stay.
No kidding.
And
this is so good.
It touches on a lot of different struggles that people who were staying, were going through, and some of it was personal, and some of it was how I would imagine it would feel.
Right.
And then I have one in here. A lot of mine are pretty dark because I have a lot of dark thoughts. But one of them in the first book is called Beautiful Tiger. And it is completely, it was for, and it's about people who commit self-harm, and it's visible to others. And how much that painful and visible reminder can be turned into a reminder of survival and of, wanting to still be around,
Wow.
If you guys don't mind, I'd love to read it.
Please do. I was kind of paging through to see if it would come up. I did see the tiger picture. Oh, yes, that picture.
All right. So it's called Beautiful Tiger. And again, there was this one girl that was in there with us, and she had marks all down her arms, and she was so self-conscious of them. And I wanted to kind of create this piece for her. And it says, Beautiful tiger, wear your stripes with pride. They tell of the warrior hidden inside. Your shield from the darkness, your escape from this world, the focal point of your agony. Beautiful tiger, they've done their job right. They prove that your soul was willing to fight, to walk in the sunshine, to widen your smile, to live in the moments life gives you. Beautiful tiger, when you look in the mirror, I hope you can cherish the fact that you're here. I hope you see beauty. I hope you see grace. I hope you see the value within.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I
love that. I do.
I actually got a chill. Holy cow. That's
wow. I taught for 26 years, and so I had students who struggled with that a lot. And so I really love that take on there. Like, It's okay. It's what you've been through, and you're beautiful because of it, right? And you're here because of it, because many of them that self-harm,
it leads to a point of shame.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's hard to grow when you're ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of just create something for her that hopefully kind of resonated.
Wow. Beautiful.
And did you read it to her?
Yeah, I did. I actually gave her like an original write out of it.
Oh,
and
nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice.
Wow. So I can't even imagine having that many children and then being impatient.
Right.
I mean, I can't and I'm just going to tell you, because when I was in nursing school, I think I may have told you the story before. I was in nursing school and we had to do rounds over at Cox North. And that is an inpatient place I was at the adult side. I didn't even do the children's side. And so here we are with these adults, and there's literally, I would call her soccer mom sitting there. Hair, makeup, nails done, dressed nice. And so we're sitting in the therapy room, and I'm like, oh, she must be the therapist. She was not. And I was just shocked because I'm like, she looks like what I would like to look like, like right. Totally done up, like she's got it together. And she told her story that she was literally in the car line at the school picking up her kids, and she had a lot of kids, and she's like, she had a mental break. And I looked at her and I thought, if she can have a mental break, I can have a mental break, because she looks like to me someone who has it made together more than I do. And that was a very sobering thing for me. And I asked her, like, well, how long do you have to stay here? What about your kids? Like, what do you do after that? Because you have to go back to regular life, and you just had this huge life-altering experience. Wow. So how did you go from that back to everyday life?
It was a rough transition, honestly. It was nice to have a regimented schedule that everybody followed to the letter. Mm-hmm. It was very nice to have that. And it bled in a little bit. But it also, like, I hadn't realized how long it had been since I had listened to music before I went in. Because we would have, like, music therapy. Right. And every day, once or twice a day, we'd go and gather around, and people would play the songs that they wanted. And so I had started listening to music again, which was really positive for me, and an outlet. I'm not great at singing, but I like to sing, right? Which is kind of where Twitch Sings came into play. Because I know, I'm aware of my level of skill. All right. But when you're doing a goofy karaoke game, like, nobody expects you to be Beyonce. Oh, that's true. Right. Like, they're just excited if you know the lyrics to the song. And so learning about that and trying to tap into the things that resonated with me that I didn't realize I had lost actually led me back into streaming. And when I got there, we did some Twitch Sings, and I had fun, but it was just kind of like it wasn't hitting the spot that I was hoping it would hit. And this was closer to fall. And then right around this time, we were right around Halloween. Well, when you have a lot of little kids, you learn how to Halloween the smart way. Right. Which means you have your kids pick out characters that have normal clothes.
Oh, there you go.
Because then you can just Goodwill that. Right. Get them super cheap outfits, not $25 a costume.
Right.
And you get face paint. Now, the face paint I started with, my very first looks, the face paint I started with was this like 12-pack of little bottles from Walmart. I think it was like $10. And then a 10-pack of those like watercolor paintbrushes, the ones where you like dip them when you're like 5, right? So that was my setup, was the face paint and the brushes. And I had done all my kiddos' makeup for Halloween, and I was like, you know what? I've never done my own face paint. I kind of want to try it. And so my brother had moved out by this point. The only gear that I had for streaming was an old PS3 camera and an old Rock Band microphone that I literally had hair tied to like a little broken lamp stand.
Oh my gosh.
So that was my setup.
And it worked.
It worked. It worked. And I did a couple of looks first. Did the Mad Hatter, which is in the first book. And I did a pop art one, which I really enjoyed. Pop art's like that comic booky kind of look.
Right.
But then I did a look that was a scarecrow. And that was what I was really excited about trying because there are so many really cool takes on it. And when I do my face paint, I just Google face paint in this style and see what I like the best and kind of pull from that. So I had done a scarecrow, and I started talking about the fact that a scarecrow is in a cornfield and prevents a crow from a basic need. And it's just a perceived threat. There's no actual danger.
That is true.
And how many times have we prevented ourselves from something we need because we think that something's there to prevent it?
Oh my gosh.
And
wow.
And so after I got done with that stream, I just was like, okay, I really want to follow this. I really want to try this. And that was in around Halloween of 2019. So I've been doing the face paint, doing the streams for the past 5 years. And I have so much fun finding a topic to pair with a look. And sometimes I come up with the topics first and then pair looks later. Sometimes I come up with the looks and try to find a topic to go with it. It's really kind of just organic as much as possible. And there are times where I just Google cool face paint. I'm like, oh, okay, I want to try that look. How can I incorporate it?
That I am just blown away. I mean, like literally blown away, which is, and we got to see the book. So our listeners who haven't even seen it, like the looks that you have created for yourself, like are in this book. But then you talk about the mental health side of it, which you do as you're streaming, which we've seen TikTok videos where like they're telling a story. I like the ones that tell murder stories. They're doing their makeup and everything. But
you live vicariously through those people.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I could do that.
Wait. But to do your face paint while telling a story that it is on such a level that is,
It's phenomenal. I was just thinking, phenomenal. I mean, the scarecrow thing really hits home. And because I've shared before in our business besties, I have anxiety like over the top. And so when we want to go somewhere and be with other women, it takes me forever because I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? This happened, and like I usually self-talk myself out of it until Laura's like, no, you're going, right? But then when you talked about that scarecrow, like, I'm afraid to go get a basic need of friendship and bonding and networking and things that I need to do because I'm afraid of the scarecrow that's there, like what might happen. But nothing's going to happen, like, right?
And there's so many instances where we do that to ourselves.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I just absolutely love that thought. So from now on, like, I'm just going to be like, okay, it's a scarecrow. Like,
the scarecrow.
It's a scarecrow. Yeah. Like, that scarecrow's not going to hurt you. Certainly, it's scary looking, right?
Right.
And it does look like it's in the way. It's like this barrier for you. But you're a crow. Just fly around somewhere else, and it's not going to hurt you at all, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Wow.
So what kind of a response have you gotten from Twitch when you do these streams?
So honestly, I have a pretty steady group that will come in when I do stream my face paint. And with my own mental health, like it's been pretty dark for a while. So I haven't consistently done my face paint on Twitch, which plays into my mental health not being as high as I'd like it to be because there's a lot of connection to them. But with the consistency, I was probably pulling in 20 to 30 viewers. And, I'm not a person that needs 200 people in my stream because I don't know that I can keep up with the chat for 200 people. That's my scarecrow.
Right.
My scarecrow is too many people in the stream. I'm like, But, having my 5 to 15 that pop in and chat with me, and they know that it's a safe place to talk about what's going on with them. I've got caregivers that come in. I've got, teens, like older teens that come in and kind of talk about what they're going through. And I've got college students that come in. And it's really cool when people pop in from all over the world because it is a global platform. And so I've had people be like, oh, well, for me right now it's bedtime and it's like 4 o'clock for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I get to learn about where they're from and things like that. And, even though I might have a topic that I want to touch on, my streamers my viewers that come in, they know that if they have something to talk about, this is a space they can do that. Wow. And I've had some people with me since the beginning.
So when you do those streams, are they saved? Like you could put them on YouTube or something?
If I had the technical prowess to edit them, yes. Because I have all of my streams are recorded with the broadcasting software that I use. It records everything. I just am not technically savvy, and I don't have the patience required to fuddle through all of my nonsense and try to make it cohesive. Because there are some times where I'm like, oh, man, I wish I kind of would have talked about this here, but I'm painting my face. You'll know if I jump from point A to point 7. You know,
right.
You're going to be able to see that. And so, just trying to figure out how to best to do that. But I have done time-lapse streams where I just grab pieces of the face paint and put it together. It's just time consuming.
Okay, so Twitch is a platform like.
So it's mostly to go watch people play games.
Okay.
So if you're a video gamer, you like people watching you like to watch people play Fortnite. You like to watch Baldur's Gate 3. You get to watch creators put their own goofy spin and personality during their gameplay.
Okay.
That's what the majority of it is.
Okay, so I should tell you, I'm old school 80s. I would just lean on the Pac-Man game and watch somebody play Pac-Man, right?
See, and that's
same thing, but now we're all online, right?
Yeah. So
nobody's playing Pac-Man anymore, by the way.
Sometimes they'll do retro stuff. They'll bring it back.
Retro stuff.
Retro what? Wait, what? Retro?
But there's also streamers like me. We're qualified as just chatting streamers.
Okay.
And something that I'm leaning into, I have another project in the works. I was asked to, my stepdaughter said I had anime voice.
Okay.
So I was like, sure, I'll try out for a couple of voice acting things. I did not get the part. But there was a project called A Sip of Serenity. And it is this vivacious, voluptuous, gorgeous girl or woman. And she has this sultry voice, but she's so sweet and so kind. And she just does these life lessons in these little 3 to 4 minute clips. And I did not get the voice acting part, but I was like, I don't care how, I want to be a part of this project. So I was actually invited to write on a couple episodes.
Nice.
To kind of help give Serenity a voice. And after I wrote on a couple, the creator was like, okay, you can write on any episode you want to. So I probably put together about 50% of the dialogue for her first season. And this was back in 2021. And I absolutely adore this character. And we are so close to production for the actual first season.
Oh, wow.
And I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it come to life. We have almost all the voice acting recorded. We've got a new 3D animator who's been just buckling down and making all the facial expressions and the props and the set. And I get to see it in a step-by-step way. And so we're hoping to see that come to fruition real soon. And then we'll get to actually see it. And it'll, like I said, it's called A Sip of Serenity.
Where's it going to be on?
YouTube.
Kidding.
Yeah. And the original creator actually had a video right when YouTube started that got millions of views. So his channel has already got a ton of people that follow it. So it's just a matter of getting it put together and putting it on there. So
oh my.
That's exciting.
I'm so
That's very
excited. I can't wait.
So you have so many things going on, and these are businesses that you run, that you tell us about that.
So, there's so many different facets. With A Sip of Serenity, I am just a very humbled and privileged writer. I get to write. I'm so excited. It's going to be tagged under Loot the Body because that is my gamer tag, which that is, if you play video games, I'm like a gold star chaser. I want to check every corner. I want to loot everything. I want to 100% it. I'm a completionist. I want to do all the things. So that's kind of where Loot the Body came into creation. And then, sorry, my brain just kind of fluttered for a second.
Okay. Well, but here, to stop you right there, I love that, Loot the Body, because you talked about you're always seeking all the treasure.
Yes.
Right.
But then you talked about, but I am a treasure. I mean, to me, when you said that, because I'm a treasure, I'm like, yeah, you actually are.
You are.
You are an amazing person. And the depth of your creativity that just spawns because of what you've been through and what you struggle with, and that you're honest about it, and it resonates with so many people.
Absolutely.
I mean, wow, that's a beautiful name, whether it's a gaming name or your creative name for writing or whatever. It's just, it's amazing.
Thank you. And something that I try to make a point to do, especially during my live streams, is I will stop and I will just look at the camera and I'll say, if you haven't heard it yet today, you are valuable. You matter, and you should love yourself because you're worth it. Because so often we forget that. We don't hear it enough, and we just forget that we matter.
Yeah.
And it's actually why I do have a Patreon, and all of my patrons are gems. So like my different tiers are actually, I've got 12 different tiers ranging from, starting at $1, and it goes through the birthstones.
Oh.
So it starts at garnet.
Right.
And it's just, as creators, we want to have, different outlets, not only to reach people, but because as a creator, there is revenue generation that you try to like tap into. And getting more information out about my streams and my books and things like that, Patreon really offers like a really cool way to do that.
Sure.
Plus, I just had a lot of fun making it. And that's actually a roadblock I run into. With the books, I had so much fun writing, designing, publishing on Amazon. But selling them, like, I have a hard time being like, so I'm awesome and you should buy my book.
Right. Right.
That's really hard for me. That's a hard step. So what I'd like to see, like, moving forward is like going to events like nerd cons and different author events and things like that, and seeing people in person, doing book signings if they wanted and readings and things like that. But it's still hard to like,
Right.
yeah, I'm awesome. Like, it's just hard to do that.
I think you would be fantastic at it. And I think
I
that
think
you
so
would
too.
be able to reach an audience that would be, people need this stuff. It's not about, I'm awesome and you need to read this. No, it's more like, you need this because you're awesome too. And I know that you can resonate with my book.
And I was thinking too, if you can like mentally, like, it's not about you. Like, we're not coming to see you because you're awesome, but you are awesome. But you know what I'm saying? Like, in your own mind, mentally, like, I have content that you need to read, right? Because that content that's in the book can really help other people. So if you see it in that format, like, you're selling your content, you're not selling you as a person, which you are, in this back sense. But if you can get to it mentally that, like, this content you need to read, like, it's going to help you in whatever stage you are in life. Read it, right? Look at the face paintings. Look at the beauty here. And they're going to fall in love with you just by connecting to your content. And then they will know you're awesome.
It's definitely my scarecrow. It's definitely.
Wow. Well, and like you're talking about, like, I'm seriously back to this YouTube channel. Oh my gosh. Do you know how many people you could help if you put all that on YouTube?
Absolutely.
And does it have to be edited? Why can't you just put it on the way it is?
I mean, it probably
agree.
could.
Because that
also a little bit perfectionist.
Okay, yeah, we just struggle with that. Perfectionist, I got you. Do struggle on that, but just put it on there, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll do ours, and Laura said the best thing I can tell you is just don't watch it. I'm like,
yeah. Oh yeah, we never watch it. There's a few I've watched, and I'm like, oh, that was great. And my mom watches, and she's like, you guys are really good. I'm like,
my mom says
really?
the same
Which one
thing.
did you watch? And she goes, I don't know. I'm like, oh, we were so good, you can't even remember what you watched.
But if you get that part out of your head, right, get over that scarecrow, just start posting them on.
Yeah.
And Whit is fantastic. So, like, hire him to just get them all on. He'll even set you up a YouTube channel.
He can do
Look at him.
all
He's
of that
like,
for you.
look at me.
He's done it for several people. I mean, like,
has.
he can set it all up for you. So literally, he can walk you through. Here's how you're going to put it on. Here's what you're going to do. I mean, he can help you with all of that stuff.
Right.
Make it so easy for you. But the thing is that these whole live streams, I wouldn't edit them because it is a journey from the beginning of that stream to the end of that stream. And if you cut something out, people may miss. If they want to fast forward, they can fast forward.
That is true.
But they may miss something really important that they needed to hear. I would just put the thing out there.
I would too. That's what people are looking for, is that authenticity, and that's what you're doing. You're saying, I'm authentic right here. This is me. I didn't edit it. I didn't do it.
They're going to see my charmers and watch me just throw stuff across the room on occasion.
Well, there you go. I mean, like, it's real though.
Right. It is.
Yeah. I don't think you appreciate how much you have the ability to help other people because you are honest. And it's not easy to come on anywhere and say, hey, I struggle with mental health. Hey, I stayed inpatient. Hey, those are not easy things to say. But my gosh, the way you can help, well, first of all, heal yourself by talking about it, but heal others because they're not alone. They're not alone in the struggle.
Honestly, that was the biggest healing point for me when I was inpatient was, first of all, when I went in and I told them I didn't do anything to hurt myself, but I was suicidal. I struggled with passive suicidal ideation. I'm sorry if that's a trigger for anybody. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it, just so you know. But passive suicidal ideation isn't, I have a plan and I'm going to act. It is, it'd be okay if I didn't wake up tomorrow. I'd be all right with that. It's also that failure checklist every single morning before you even roll out of bed. Look at all these ways that I've already failed at today. I haven't even started today.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, while you're behind the wheel, you wouldn't mind if somebody else was at fault and you didn't make it out. It's all of these like thoughts of just exiting, but not wanting the guilt for it. And I struggled with it so badly that I finally went in and I told the ER, I am feeling suicidal. And they believed me, which not everybody gets that experience.
That is true.
And it was so validating that it mattered, like that somebody cared that that's how I felt. Because a lot of the times we don't know what to say to people when they're struggling. We just don't.
True.
And so not only did they believe me, but they got me help. And then when you're inpatient, you do group therapy. It's basically like you have to complete some check boxes in order to be able to be released from inpatient. And to hear that I wasn't the only one struggling with those thoughts, struggling with that failure checklist, struggling just to like find meaning at all, that like helped me so much to reassure myself that it wasn't just I'm broken. It was, okay, so other people go through this too.
Yeah.
Other people struggle with this as well. And having that reassurance helped my journey so much. And that's honestly one of the big reasons I opened it up to to create a space where people could have that same experience.
Yeah.
Well, that's it exactly. I mean, you're able to, when somebody says I'm suicidal, you say, okay, now next step, right? Or other people are like, don't know what to do. See you later. Bye. Right.
Well, and it's so hard because when somebody else comes to you and they talk about being suicidal, part of you is survival mode. Like, I don't want to be attached to this.
Right.
And it's hard because all they want is like to be seen.
Yes.
And it can be really difficult to, like, I'm a person that doesn't trust easily.
Right.
I don't. I'll share a lot of stories, but I'm not going to trust a person very easily. So to have that like vulnerability to be there to help somebody can be a struggle. And so I wanted to kind of create a space where, you know, with my stream, people, they type in, they chat, and they have that space to talk, and they don't have to feel exposed, you know, to the people in their everyday life.
Right. Right.
And some of my best friends are online friends, you know, and a lot of people don't really realize that just because you don't meet in person doesn't mean you can't still have a good friendship.
Right.
That's absolutely true.
Right.
I find that online too, that I just have the friends that I constantly communicate with, you know, go on their page and support, although I'm Facebook, so that's older than Twitch, but same kind of concept, you know, and that there are people out there, right? And I think just hearing what you have to say, I just encourage you even more, go to YouTube, you know, get out even more than just where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that the people who, you know, your 20 or 30 people who are watching you, that could be 20,000 or 30,000 who go, oh my God, I'm not by myself.
Right.
That's so
I'm not
scary.
And they can see it at any time, you know, not just when you're streaming or just when you're live. They can go back and look at that YouTube anytime.
Yeah.
Yep. I would really encourage you to do it. And while you're here, talk to Whit, you know, like.
Absolutely. This is such an important thing that.
I agree.
Do it.
Yes. Yeah. Do it that you can. I think even today you're helping people who are listening, you know, and just knowing this.
Yeah, because we're listening, you know, our audience is obviously going to be probably primarily women, primarily women who have business, want to start a business or whatever. in that realm, and they're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
somebody's honestly talking about how they feel. Thank God. And I'm not alone in, okay, I'm not the only one. Okay. So, yeah.
And that
You are a
damn
gem. Like, on your
Yeah.
tears there, but you are like, wow. Your ability to reach so many people is amazing.
And I think
Absolutely
you should
amazing.
follow that for sure.
Yeah, I
For
do
sure.
too. I do too.
So,
well,
I was going to say, in the midst of all of this, you have other things that
Yes.
you're doing as well,
I
right?
know.
Tell us.
Yes. So I have just a little, it's called Specialty Custom Tees. Like I said, we have a bajillion kids. So we're trying to teach them more about business understanding. And Specialty Custom Tees is just like, we'll make small order t-shirts or mugs or totes. And it's just with like vinyl and infusible ink. It's not anything like super fancy or big machines or anything like that. It's real small scale, but it also gives me the opportunity. Like I've made t-shirts with my daughter's art on them and things like that. So like they get their own personalized things. My boyfriend runs D&D tables. So I made him a mug that on one side, it's got a D20 and it says, if the DM is laughing, and then when you turn it around, it says, it's already too late. So you can start it on either side and flip it. But I got to make him that for Father's Day one year. And then I have a little piece of vinyl over the craft room that says, this is how I roll. And it's got all the different kinds of dice.
Oh, fun.
Oh, nice.
And so it's just honestly like, it's a little thing to teach like the kids, okay, just because somebody spent $10, well, now here's supplies. Now here's your time. Now here's what you have to pay to the business for taxes. Like, and here's your portion.
Yes.
Oh, but wait, mom helped you. You're in training. I get half of that portion. So you want to make that full portion, learn how to do it and do it the correct way.
Right.
And then it's yours. And so it kind of teaches them like financial understanding of a business as well as like taking on the responsibility of the role. So that's something that we do. And then I am actually a publisher in South Springfield. I run the Neighbors of South Springfield magazine, which I absolutely love. And I get to be a part of the publishing team bringing Neighbors by the Lake to the Taney, Stone County area.
Nice.
So we're doing a solely local business magazine. We won't put anything tourism related in it for the Stone and Taney County area because you guys already get enough stuff with like it's like plastered with all the touristy attractions. And with how our magazine runs, we are going to feature a local family, tell their story, and only have local businesses in there. And it's something that my boyfriend's actually went to Branson High School. So he's from the area, and it's something that's like really exciting for him. And then we also get to work together for that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's fun.
Yeah.
So that, and then I think I've covered everything else.
You have a food truck.
We did.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
What happened?
Just went a different direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
absolutely not.
absolutely.
Well, I get considerably less gumbo now in my life, so I mean, that's a downside.
And that's just, you know what? That's the truth of business. There are times that we have to pivot. We just have to pivot. If things aren't working out, then you pivot and you keep on trucking.
Yep, and that's
no pun intended.
and that's exactly what we're planning on doing. You know, it's going to give him some more time also to put into. He creates 3D modular tiles for Dungeons and Dragons or any similar role playing game, and they're magnetic. And he creates them out of foam, and it's really, really cool. He does a whole bunch of different terrain building. And then what we're wanting to do, he's just getting started on Twitch. He's wanting to do like creative streams, and I'm wanting to do weekend workshops or something to that effect where I will, like if somebody wants to order something custom made, I'll make it in front of them. I'll make it for them. On stream.
Nice.
They do that on TikTok too.
Yeah.
I've seen all this stuff on TikTok.
So
that's amazing.
That's something gives me the opportunity to just kind of play with my craft stuff.
Yeah.
Because buying things from Hobby Lobby and making crafts are two different hobbies, you know.
Right.
True.
Right.
True.
And I'd like to start working through some of my material. And then I do this thing when I had my website up and running, which it's down for the moment. But when I had it up and running, when people would order specifically from the website, I would do handmade thank you cards. And you ladies did a did a
vision board.
vision board
Yes,
night.
yes.
You know my propensity
Yes.
for sticker love.
Yes.
So
I was so thinking about it. You brought all those stickers.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
I know.
I brought a huge bag of stickers.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know. I know.
But I
We
love,
called you the sticker lady. Like
We
knew.
did.
Yes,
The
yes.
sticker lady. The sticker lady.
I love it. I love getting creative and getting to compile stuff. And all of my vision boards are like packed from corner to corner.
Wow.
Just
Nice.
because like that makes my heart happy.
Yeah.
It does.
Oh, and then one other thing that I do, I run a networking calendar.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
We've heard
So-
people talk about this. So
Yes, we
tell us
have.
about it. Because now we're getting like straight from the source. Not
Yes.
somebody else like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you do this calendar. All right. tell us.
So this calendar is my own neurotic tendencies in a calendar form that somebody convinced me to start charging subscriptions for. Basically, it's mostly Springfield events and surrounding areas, and I'm starting to saturate it more with Branson. But it is $6.99 a month, and I send you access to this Google Calendar that shows all of the events. There are at least 65 events a week
Holy
Wow.
cow.
in Springfield and surrounding areas.
And these
Wow.
are like networking groups. These
Networking
are
groups,
okay.
free mixers, home shows, just anywhere that would be a great place to network with other people.
Wow, man.
And we run a free, we're on Facebook. We have a Facebook group called Business is Great. Because if
Okay.
you start with business is great, eventually it will be.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
On top of that, business is great is BIG.
Oh.
So you get to be a part of something big.
I love it.
Oh my
I love
gosh.
It.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So,
love that.
The Business is Great networking calendar, like I said, it's $6.99 a month or $69.99 for the year, and you get access to be able to check out any of the events that we have listed, as well as anybody who wants to list an event. It's not for like, hey, here, pay for my job or my service.
Mhm.
It's, hey, there's a bunch of women getting together on this night. Come hang out. And so
Okay.
it's a place to go and post your events
Nice.
so that other people can see, what's
Nice.
going on and get connected and get into the area. And a lot of the times, small businesses, they just don't understand that Mega has 9 chapters, that ING is in Branson as well, that Networking
Right.
Navy has a presence here.
Right.
And, there are 7 major networking groups out of Springfield.
Wow.
Wow.
And they all
We
have their
visited
own
some of them,
chapters. They
but
all have their own
didn't know.
vibrancy. And even though we're starting with the calendar, eventually I would love to have an app.
Mm-hmm.
An app where you go in and you go,
Oh, nice.
here's my profession. Where can I go? What's the
Right.
best group for me to visit? Because
Oh my
right
God, that's
now,
fantastic.
Right.
and my business partner and I think you guys have had her on, Jen Hunter.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
it was Jen who was telling us about
Yes,
it.
yes.
So eventually we would love to do like big, like business cultivation. Not coaches, not consultants necessarily, but just helping people see where they can plant themselves.
Mhm.
Right.
So trees are kind of our theme,
Mm-hmm.
with big. And we want to help businesses plant themselves in the right place to thrive. So right now, I have somebody that I see for chiropractic, and I'll go in to see him and he'll do my adjustments, and I will teach him where he should visit and help him, get connected to the right groups that I know don't have a chiropractor, that I know because I have a lot of information about all
Sure.
of these different groups.
Sure.
And who I can plug them in with or who he might need to know for venues and things like that. So eventually we would love to be able to sit down with businesses and be like, okay, here's your business size. Excuse me. Here's what could be some good steps for you.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've always been passionate about, connecting people. That's how I ended up publishing a magazine, because I get to connect businesses to local homeowners. Like,
Right.
that's what I was doing anyway. I actually got the job because I walked into a restaurant, did the interview, got the job immediately, left and had a panic attack. All my kids are little. Am I going to give away all of my nights and weekends while they're
Oh,
little?
Yeah.
Right.
And my boyfriend looked at me and he goes, but you love networking. Make a resume about that.
Yeah.
And I did. And I posted it and my business found me.
Wow.
So that's how I became a publisher with the magazine, and wanting to extend what we do in Springfield to the Branson, Stone and Taney County area. My boyfriend got involved with the company as well. So yeah,
That's
and
fantastic.
it's cool
Yeah.
because we're actually backed by like the largest company that does what we do.
Wow.
So like
Wow.
we have a lot of amazing support.
Man, that's great.
It is. And you have so many things going on and so many littles running around. I do not even know how you do it. You're like a superwoman here.
Yeah, well, you're a very dynamic person.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. You just amaze me. And that's why I want you to do a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Because I think you could touch so many lives. And,
I agree 100%.
Yeah. So where are we at? 45 minutes. Wow, it goes that fast.
It does. It goes that fast.
Well, we better wrap it up. But
Before we do.
Yeah.
No, you tell
Nope.
it.
You go.
We want to know, is there any advice that you'd give to business women who want to start their own business, who are in the beginnings of their business?
It's okay to be scared and do it anyway.
Yeah.
Good. That's
Okay, so we're into it, and I'm still scared.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Like, I have those mornings that I'm like, oh, God, I don't even want to get up, right? Because I have all these emails I haven't answered yet. I have menus I haven't made yet. Oh, and the chef is going to want me to do something in the kitchen, I'm sure. I think I'll just stay in bed today, right?
Well, and you know what? To ping on yours, you talk about your list of failures. I do have those moments where I wake up and I'm like, I didn't answer this guy. Oh, God, I got to do this. I got to do, and it's like, you're right. Feet haven't even hit the floor, and you're already like overwhelmed with what you have to get done because you feel like you're letting people down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
I love that advice. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you.
And we're excited to look more at your books. And
I know. And we'll put links on the podcast so people can buy your book.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, people need it. They do. So
I agree 100%.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kristi. Thank you so much for coming and talking with us. It's just been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
So
and come back after
so much for having
baby
me on.
and talk to us again. Yeah, we love it.
All right.
We'll have our additional podcaster here.
There you
Hey,
go.
that'd be perfect.
That's right.
That'd be perfect.
We'll
Thank
talk to you a little later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.